Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to General Hospital latest episode. General Hospital spoilers reveal that hero Jason Morgan will save Britt Westbourne, so some passion will erupt during Blizzard confession time. Britt and Jason are about to share some extremely close moments, so let's discuss all the twists and turns ahead. The week of January 26 through 30 will begin with Jason making another attempt to question Britt. One minute, Britt was planning a second date with Jason, and the next, she was telling him to get lost, so he's wondering about the real reason for her total about-face. Britt will continue to act like she's had some epiphany about not being able to forgive Jason over the past, but he won't think that's true. The more Jason pushes for the real story, the more Britt will insist he needs to leave her alone. That's only going to convince Jason that Britt is in trouble, so he'll be determined to save her. Jason doesn't know about all the threats director Ross Cullum has been making, but he may assume she's indeed being threatened by someone. Jason will pull off a dramatic rescue on GH's January 29th episode, perhaps in more ways than one. A blizzard will leave Port Charles in turmoil, so that'll add to all the mayhem that Britt and Jason will be facing. However, Jason will step up as Britt's hero before they get stranded together. Britt won't be able to run from Jason's questions anymore, so this may force her to drop her guard and spill some news. General Hospital spoilers say Jason will put some clues together on January 30, so Britt may confess enough for him to have a realization or two. Jason may determine that his life's in jeopardy and that Rocco Falconeri, Finn Carr, has been threatened too. Britt might even say enough to make Jason realize there's some dirty WSB involvement in this shady project she's been forced into. Whatever the case, Britt will be touched when Jason once again refuses to give up on her. Jason has made it clear that he won't abandon Britt, so that's a promise he's going to keep. There'll be some tender moments as Jason touches Britt's face with lit candles around them. It probably won't be long until the clothes come off and the duo sizzles while the snowstorm continues outside. General Hospital spoilers say Jason will do his best to pry some updates out of Britt and will vow to help, so stay tuned for the closeness that'll lead to. CDL is where you want to be for fantastic GH spoilers, updates, and news, so make us your favorite hotspot. As the storm raged outside and the candles flickered softly between them, Jason realized this moment was more than just another rescue. Britt's defenses, the wall she had so carefully built, were finally beginning to crack. He could see it in her eyes, in the way her voice trembled just slightly when she finally spoke again. She told him she had tried to push him away because she was terrified. Not of him, not of the past, but of what would happen if he got any closer to the truth. Britt admitted that for weeks she had been walking a tightrope, pretending everything was fine, while knowing that one wrong move could destroy everything. The threats hadn't stopped, the pressure hadn't eased, and every day she feared that Jason or Rocco would become collateral damage. Jason listened without interrupting, his expression steady but his mind racing. Each word she spoke confirmed what he had already begun to suspect. This wasn't just about her. This wasn't just about a secret project or a rogue superior. This was bigger, more organized, more dangerous. When Britt finally looked up at him, her eyes were glossy but determined. She told him there were files, hidden ones, that proved the WSB had been infiltrated, not just by one corrupt official, but by an entire network operating in the shadows. She said Ross Cullum was only a piece of it, a front man for something far more powerful, and the moment she tried to back out, they made it clear there would be consequences. Jason's jaw tightened. He understood immediately why she had tried to send him away, why she had chosen isolation over honesty. In her mind, distance was the only way to protect him. But Jason told her something she hadn't expected. He told her that pushing him away had never protected anyone he loved. It had only left them alone when they needed him most. He reminded her of every battle they had survived, every impossible situation they had walked out of together. He said if someone thought threatening his life or Rocco's would scare him into backing down, they had badly underestimated him. The storm outside intensified, the wind howling against the windows, as if Port Charles itself was warning them that what lay ahead would not be simple. Britt confessed that there was one final piece of information she hadn't dared to say out loud before. There was a scheduled transfer, a data handoff that would take place within days, and once it happened, the people behind it would disappear, leaving her to take the fall. Jason realized then that time was running out. He told her they would stop it together. Not tomorrow, not after more questions. Tonight they would start planning. For the first time in weeks, Britt allowed herself to believe she wasn't facing this alone. She admitted that when she had first met Jason again, she hadn't expected to feel anything. She thought she had buried those emotions long ago. But somewhere between the danger and the fear, between the moments he kept showing up when she told him not to, she realized she still trusted him more than anyone. Jason told her quietly that he had never stopped caring. The confession changed the air between them. The storm trapped them, but for once, neither of them felt trapped at all. They spoke late into the night, mapping out every risk, every possible betrayal, every name Britt could remember. Jason promised he would reach out to the few people he trusted with his life, discreetly, carefully, no one who could be compromised. By the time the blizzard began to ease, they had a plan, but they also had something else, a fragile understanding that whatever happened next, this wasn't just about exposing corruption or surviving another threat. This was about whether they were brave enough to face what they still meant to each other. As dawn crept in through the frosted windows, Jason made one final vow. He told Britt that when this was over, no matter how ugly it got, no matter what secrets came out, he wasn't going anywhere. And for the first time since this nightmare began, Britt believed him. Morning arrived slowly in Port Charles, the aftermath of the blizzard leaving the city buried in silence. The streets were nearly empty, power outages scattered across town, and emergency crews struggling to restore order. Inside the small room where they had taken shelter, Jason and Britt knew the calm would not last. They separated before sunrise, not because they wanted to, but because they understood the danger of being seen together too soon. Jason left first, moving through the quiet streets with the same instinct that had kept him alive for decades. Every shadow, every unfamiliar sound put him on alert. Someone had gone to great lengths to intimidate Britt, and now that he knew the truth, he had no intention of becoming an easy target. His first stop was Sunny. Not in person, too risky. Instead, he left a coded message through a secure channel they had used only in emergencies. No names, no details, just enough to signal that a serious threat was unfolding inside the WSB and that lives were already in danger. Meanwhile, Britt returned to the hospital, slipping back into her role as chief of staff as if nothing had happened. She smiled at colleagues, reviewed charts, signed orders, and pretended she hadn't just confessed to being trapped inside a conspiracy that could cost her everything. But she wasn't alone anymore. That knowledge gave her strength. Still, the pressure intensified. By midday, she received another message. Short, cold, precise. A reminder that her time was running out. They knew about the storm. They knew about the rescue. They warned her that Jason's involvement had been noticed. And next time, they wouldn't miss. Britt deleted the message, but her hands were shaking. She tried to focus on her work, but every hallway felt like a trap, every unfamiliar face a potential watcher. She realized then that the people behind this operation were already inside the hospital, watching, waiting. That afternoon, Jason made his next move. He met with Carly, not to ask for help, to warn her. He told her just enough to make her understand that a dangerous network was operating close to home, and that if anything happened to him, she needed to protect Rocco at all costs. Carly wanted details. Jason refused. The fewer people who knew, the safer they would be. But even as he tried to limit the circle, events were already slipping out of his control. At the WSB field office, Director Cullum realized Britt had changed. She was calmer, more focused, less afraid, and that made her more dangerous than ever. He ordered surveillance increased. Phones tapped, bank records monitored. Every move she made now went into a file marked priority. That evening, Jason returned to Britt. Not directly. He watched from across the street, making sure she wasn't being followed. Only when he was certain did he approach. They spoke quietly, briefly. He told her he had reason to believe the data transfer she mentioned would happen sooner than expected, within 48 hours. If they didn't intercept it, the evidence would vanish. Britt told him something new. There was a courier, a man she had never met in person, the final link in the chain, and he was scheduled to arrive in Port Charles the next night. Jason realized this was their only chance, but the danger was escalating faster than he anticipated, because someone else had started asking questions: Dante. Unaware of the full story, he had noticed unusual movements connected to the WSB, financial anomalies tied to hospital funding, and a name that kept appearing in sealed reports: Ross Cullum. Dante's instincts told him something was very wrong, and as he dug deeper, he unknowingly moved closer to the same trap that had already ensnared Britt. By nightfall, 3 separate forces were closing in: the corrupt network trying to silence Britt, Jason preparing to intercept the courier, and Dante walking straight into the middle of it all. None of them knew yet that the next 24 hours would change their lives, because the people behind this operation were done with threats. They were ready to make an example, and the first move would come before dawn.